How are you doing? Welcome to the weekly Woodworking Wrap-Up Review episode number 53. I'm your host, David Pachuto, the Drunken Woodworker, and this is a show where we highlight active woodworkers in the community and talk about the latest woodworking news and events. And today we got some great woodworking videos to highlight, special guest and furniture designer Lacey Campbell, and much more. So grab a drink and stick around. What am I drinking here? The bottle says Sam Adams Oktoberfest, but I know that's not what's in there.
Unfortunately, with beer brewing, you have to use the bottles that you can. It's actually a bourbon pecan brown ale.
Did you make this?
I can't claim that I did, but I had help. I helped.
That's really good.
Yeah, my boyfriend is into beer brewing, so.
Very nice.
He has some lofty goals, but it's a beautiful, beautiful beer.
All right.
But we only brought one, so you're the only one drinking it. But...
Oh, and what are you drinking?
I don't know. You gave it to me. What is it?
You have Maumee Bay Oktoberfest.
Okay.
Which they're still selling Oktoberfest
that's great.
in January, and it's actually pretty good.
It is.
Brewed right here in Toledo, Ohio. All right, before we get in, I just wanted to say that I was on the podcast by Fine Woodworking called Shop Talk Live. There'll be a link down below where you can check that out. We talked about how I got started as a YouTuber, design, bandsaw boxes, and flocking. It was really good. Thank you guys for having me on there, and you should check that out. Today's guest, Lacey Campbell. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Good.
I'm so glad you had me come on.
Yes. So, we should talk about who you are and what you do.
Do we have to?
We have to. That is why you are here.
All right. Well, I'm a local designer and furniture maker. I actually just decided recently to make Toledo home. So I'm starting my own business, and all of that really got started because of a show that I was on recently called Framework. And
we're going to get into that in a second.
Oh, okay.
No. We're just teasing them a little bit.
Okay.
All right. Keep them interested.
Okay.
Should I call you a furniture maker, furniture designer, woodworker, metalworker? What are you?
Well, I'm a jewel of all trades, but a master of none. I like to say that because I have so many different things that I do. I'm a metalworker, I'm a woodworker, I'm formally trained as a furniture designer.
Okay.
So because of the school I went to, Savannah College of Art and Design, you really kind of focus on all the different medium, all the different means of making furniture. Mm-hmm. So upholstery, refinishing, all of that stuff is dear to my heart. But I'm technically a furniture designer.
Gotcha. All right. But you do make it with your hands. You have a shop at home, and you made all kinds of furniture back in Savannah. Who are your influences when it comes to design and furniture?
I love the Eames. I've loved the Eames my whole life.
Yes.
I own a couple pieces that are actually vintage, retro, whatever you want to call them, antiques.
Nice.
I found them in a warehouse in the middle of Missouri, and the people that were selling them didn't know what they were, so I got out of there for like $35 for 2 shell chairs, which is amazing.
I have a friend who she lives just a few roads over, and on her porch is an original Eames chair. And I texted her roommate, who I play in a band with, and I'm like, Zach, I think there's some Eames chairs on your front porch. And he's like, oh yeah, Lindsay knows. She doesn't care. People ask about her chairs all the time.
Like to buy them or steal them?
Both. I'm going to steal them. So yeah, I don't know what the style is called, but it's like the plastic molded chairs with like the little pin legs. So.
Yeah, it's the shell chair.
Yeah. The
fiberglass shell chairs. Yeah. That's actually what I picked up at that warehouse.
Nice.
But no, I've always loved the Eames. They just have this really kind of simplistic, stylistic. I don't know. They're iconic for a reason.
Yeah.
So. And then I'm also really into Nervous System, which is a company that does 3D printed designs. So I have a couple pieces from them, but I'm very interested in the inner workings of 3D printing and mass production and using those sort of details like for hardware or other things on furniture. So
awesome. So you're a bit of a celebrity, right?
I guess.
There's
an unknown celebrity, I guess.
So there's a new show called Framework on Spike TV. And if you are watching this on Tuesday, Episode 3 will be out later tonight. Tell me about Framework.
So Framework is a new series on Spike. It's kind of funny. There's a bunch of these furniture shows coming out. And Framework is essentially another competition series, kind of like Chopped or Cupcake Wars or Project Runway, where they pose several designers against one another to really design furniture on the fly. You have 24 hours to build a piece. It's been critiqued in the design phase from, the judges. They usually give you really bad feedback. You have no idea what you're going to do. So the time is against you. You've pretty much got no one else to lean on because you're there on an island. I guess you could talk to your competitors, but they might give you false information. It's just a really intense design show, but it just happens to be about furniture. Was it fun? It was really fun. Yeah. I had the deepest pockets you could ever imagine to dig from. Any material that we needed, we could get. Any material that you would typically not use at home, this was the chance to use that. Any of the tools that you could possibly think of were available. We had sponsorship from General, Festool, Miller. I mean, there were so many different people that were a participant in that we had. Woodworker's dream. Yeah, I mean, and metalworker's dream. Yeah. I mean, they could get anything that we wanted. They could rent tools for the day if we wanted, like a metal lathe. Yeah. Which around here, like renting a metal lathe would probably be kind of hard, but it was in LA, so. Everybody on there is an amazing woodworker, metalworker, whatever. It's intense. All that stuff is fantastic. Seriously an intense place to be because everyone has their own just amazing toolbox that they're working with. Yeah. And, being around people like that, like, you want to stop and watch them. You don't want to be working on something, like, you want to, like, watch Curtis do stuff with his hand plane, and you want to stop and watch, Freddie and Jory, like, they're both awesome woodworkers. Jason, there would be days where I would just be standing there, like, grinding on a piece of metal, and I'm, like, stopping and, like, watching what he's doing, because he's doing things in a different way than I would. And to be around people that do that, you learn more on the fly. Sure. And I mean, if you would have, I don't know how you could do it, but looked at me the first day and then what I left with the last day that I was there, like, I gained so much knowledge being around those people. There's a difference between, like, learning something from a book or a DVD than to actually see somebody's thought process. Yeah. So well, and then really see someone talk about what they're going to do and then watch them do it. Yeah. And not have it scripted, or they run into problems and they have to work through their own issues, and like, I don't know, it's just really fun being in that type of environment. It's so motivating. Very cool. Episode 3 comes out Tuesday night. Yes. On Spike TV. Yes. What time? 10 o'clock. All right. You want to help me out with these videos here? Absolutely. All right, we're going to dive into this week's videos. First video, how to make a secret door bookcase by I Like to Make Stuff. This is by my buddy Bob. This is so cool. Have you ever seen a secret door? That was the first video I watched, and my brother has been trying to get me to make something like that for his house to hide guns. No. So I'll send him that video so he can do it. Very cool. Who doesn't want a secret door, right? I know. Next video, concrete nightstand with live edge walnut drawer by Homemade Modern. And I really love the mixed medium of concrete and live edge wood. And I kind of picked this video because I thought you might like it because it's mixing more than just, it has more than just woodworking. There's concrete in there. Absolutely. Tell me what you thought about this. So I am in love with mixed media, especially when it comes to concrete and walnut. I love walnut. And I think the thing that drew me the most into that video was how he made the mold. The fact that he used Legos blew my mind. It doesn't seem like the most efficient way to do that. He's done other videos where he'll use what's the big sheets with the white laminate on top. Oh, the melamine. Yeah, and that seems like a good way to make a concrete mold. But Legos, that's crazy. And the fact that the way that they interlock together, but you still get a little bit of a line. Yeah. So he even gained some of the texture of it too. Yeah. The fact that he painted the drawer like a teal color, to where you get that pop of color when you open it, like, that just it like exemplifies him thinking about every detail.
The attention to detail. Yeah, absolutely. All right, next video, making a cherry wood frame with bridle joints by Darbin Orvar. And I love her videos. I don't know if you've ever watched any of her videos before. They're so good. There's always a story to her actual name is Lynn. Lynn always tells a story in her videos, and they're just really fun to watch. And there's a bottle of Maker's Mark in the back, and I'm wondering if she put that in there so I would highlight her on the show. Like, I think a long time ago I said if you can mix woodworking and drinking together, I'll put you on the show.
That's awesome.
But it's just a different way to approach a frame. Instead of the miter corners, you get a stronger joint with the bridle joints, and just a good video.
You know, I have never really worked with bridle joints before, and it seemed like maybe there was a lot of steps in making that frame, but the thing that kind of threw me was how she then also glued in the channel for the
she did not
frame.
route out the rabbit.
Right, yeah, she actually had that as a second process that she then put in there. So you get this really interesting kind of detail in the corner. It's not just, you know, that flat butt joint that you see from the bridle joint. So it's interesting to me how people take on that kind of stuff, because it's really almost like a handmade detail.
Yeah.
Like it's not something you can get
not
at
something
store.
you're going to see at Target.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
Very cool. And then finally, Twisted Table by Andrew Klein. This thing is mind-blowing. Crazy design.
It's...
Like, it would take me like a year and a half to make this, right? Have you ever seen anything like this before?
Not really, no. The legs were wild. The tabletop was insane. It's not my cup of tea at all. It's not something that I'm really that attracted to, because it's almost too much. Mm-hmm. But I know that the workmanship and the craftsmanship that went into making something like that happen has to be so tedious. I give him so many props for trying that out.
I got to meet Andrew last summer. Real awesome dude, good dude, and obviously an amazing woodworker. So that wraps up this week's videos. Now we're going to get into some tweets. Using the hashtag WWWR, you can submit questions to me and I will answer them on the show. And today, Lacey's going to help me answer some of these. First one comes from Garrett. When did you begin woodworking? For me, it was 3.5, almost 4 years ago, which might surprise some of you.
That is kind of surprising. Yeah. Like I don't know, you have a demeanor that makes it sound like, oh, I've been doing this my whole life. I don't know.
It's all about confidence.
Exactly.
Just act like you know how to do something.
Fake it till you make it.
Yep.
Gosh, I have, I guess, technically been doing woodworking since about 2006, I guess. But I've always tinkered with stuff in the shop of my grandparents.
Lance writes, new house, new shop, plenty of space, dedicated finishing booth, ventilation. Where do you finish? I personally don't care to have a finishing booth. On the projects that I really take a lot of time and care on, I will do a hand rubbed oil finish. Mm-hmm.
Do you use like a Watco oil or Danish
oil?
No,
I will mix boiled linseed oil, polyurethane, and mineral spirits to kind of thin it down, and then wipe it on. And it's like a 4 or 5 day process, but it really brings out the finish in the wood. It doesn't leave a coating on there, and so you can still feel the wood. Sam writes, what is your favorite woodworking tool or machine? As in fun to use, not necessarily function. Mine is currently the spoke shave. And you're probably not going to like my answer, but my favorite tool is the computer. Because I love sketching out my designs, and then I love the drawing and putting it together, whether I use either Adobe Illustrator or Google SketchUp. And that is just one of the most fun things to do, is that initial design process. Now, the answer you're probably looking for is a bandsaw. I like a bandsaw. I can do a lot of things with the bandsaw. You can get very artsy with it. So how about you? Favorite tool?
That's a really hard question. Since you mentioned the computer, that's something I really go to a lot too, because I'm being formally trained as a designer. You know, that was the first step in the process for a lot of designers, is working through that design and doing several sketches and ideating through every possible, iteration of that design. And when I worked at Slaughter Woodworking, we had these awesome tablets. They're Cintiq tablets by Wacom. They're there's a billion different names for them.
The drawing tablets.
The drawing tablets. And being able to just draw right on the screen and go through stuff, you can copy and paste. Like, you're able to just kind of knock out sketches really quickly. You don't have to worry about scanning in your drawing or anything. That would probably be like my favorite tool, is just being able to ideate quickly like that. Otherwise, like, I love TIG welding.
Oh,
so
nice.
It's not really woodworking, but I love welding. I love using a metal brake to bend metal. I don't know.
Very cool.
This is a woodworking show, but I would say a favorite tool would probably be something in the metal shop.
Next question. Oliver writes, what are the best tools for people starting out? When's the best time to get a joiner, planer, or drum sander? Oliver, the best time to get those tools is when you need them. Do not buy tools just to buy tools. I always say, start with a project first, then buy the tools to make that project. Yep. That way you're not buying tools because you see somebody on YouTube using something, and then you end up with an expensive tool that you may not like, you may not need, or you might find a more enjoyable way using a different tool to do something. You know?
Yeah.
So what's the best project for a first-time woodworker who is just getting started? And I say build a stand for one of your tools, whether you get a little jigsaw or a router, build a table to either mount that router in or put the jigsaw on. Shop furniture is a great learning process to learn how to use your tools and just basic casework.
I would say that's a really good idea, because then you're actually using that in your shop afterwards, so you're not having to buy that piece of furniture or that piece of equipment. When I was getting started, I had to build a table. That was one of the first projects in school, was table making 101.
Yeah.
And you had a certain amount of board footage that you got to work with, and you had a certain dimension, and that was the thing you had to build.
All right, and last Twitter question from Juan. What shiny finish do you think is good for a wooden box to look high quality? Juan, that is a trick question, because boxes don't look high quality when they are shiny. No.
Unless they're Italian, I guess.
Yeah, I just, when you get that shiny finish that has that film on there, I feel like you don't feel the wood anymore. You feel the polyurethane or whatever that top coat is. And so I like oils, and 4 or 5 coats of oils, and it creates it's a satin finish. You can get a little bit shinier if you want.
If you kind of polish it,
but you still have that feel of wood. And plus, when anything that's real super shiny, any imperfections are highlighted in the gloss.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny. There are definitely like two theories of thought. You can go high sheen, and some people think that that's really high quality. But if you talk to most woodworkers, they're going to say that it's a satin or semi-gloss sort of finish. I personally hate shiny finishes, even on like my interiors of my house. Like, I hate going with gloss finishes. There are definitely there's a time and a place for shiny finish, but I think for, this sort of wooden box idea, like, you're going to be using that, and that's tactile. So being able to actually like feel a little bit of the wood grain, and, you're not going to put fingerprints on it that way either if it's not shiny. I don't know. I definitely have to agree with you and say more of a oil finish.
Your Lexus should be shiny.
Yes, there we go.
Your box should not. This past week, I got way more Twitter questions than I normally get, so I could not answer them all. If I did not get to your question, you can always try again. So tweet your questions using the hashtag WWWR. I wanted to let you know that I have a podcast with Jimmy DiResta and Bob Claggett from I Like to Make Stuff. It is called Making It, and we just put out episode number 7 the other day, and we talk about our failures. And how we deal with them, and how we learn from those failures. So you want to check that out. There'll be a link down below. All right, guys, wrapping things up. Question of the week: have you ever abandoned a project due to mishap or failure? You can post your answers down below in the YouTube comments or the comments on my website. Wanted to let you know I got new t-shirts in. I got some black Drunken Woodworker shirts. I got the red Make Something shirt. And the brown Make Something shirt with a log. I did recently run out of stickers, but I got new ones coming in. They should be in any day. Lacey, these are for you.
Oh, fantastic.
If you're new to this channel, I put out new woodworking videos every week. If you like what I do, you can buy me a beer, which is just a money donation at this link over here. And this week, I would like to thank Robert Walnut from Sterling Heights, Michigan, Gray Keene from Tennessee, Vincent Vandenplas from Green Bay, Wisconsin, Timothy Flynn from Indianapolis, Indiana, Raymond Mauder from Elk Grove, California, Frank Veritas from Texas. I probably screwed that up pretty good. You guys are killing me with the names this week. Paul Storty. Yes, Paul Storty. He gave me a huge donation too. Awesome.
Very cool.
Yes. Tyler, how would you say that? Boseflung? Tyler, thank you, Tyler. Yeah, we'll go with that. Hiram Cook from Seaside, California, Julie Carnahan from Pennsylvania, and Father Thomas Bailey. That is it, guys. Lacey, where can people find out more about you? What do you want to leave them with?
So, I guess kind of like the big hub to find all of my different links for social network are going to be at LaceyCampbellDesigns.com. I also have a Facebook page, Lacey Campbell from Framework Season 1 on Facebook. So I'm totally social. There's lots of different places you can find me. But if you check out my website, you'll be able to find links to everything. So.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thanks for coming on. All right, guys, be safe, stay passionate, and make something.